'Twas a dark and stormy night, except it's actually morning. But hey, it's time for Neblime versus jakulangski, Part 3! And of course, we're still on Paradise. Let's see what happens. We got Neblime in the top right. We got jakulangski in the top left. And he has told me that the reason why he has gone for this name of E520 is because it's a 7-Eleven joke. Okay. Well, just on that note, let's crack open a cold one. Actually, it's not so cold anymore because everything is hot. Everything is humid. Summer is here. And that's just the way things are going to be now. So enjoy the heat. We're bringing the heat. We're bringing you Cosmonarchy. This is the future of all RTS games, obviously. Every RTS game that comes out that's going to be any good is going to look like this. Obviously, no ifs, ands, or buts. No, well, I like butts, but, you know. Anyway, we're going into this one. We got Neblime rocking the Protoss. Fresh off the win of Acropolis #1, our current reigning champion. He is challenging jakulangski, who gave him a lot of ZVZ matches when he was playing Zerg. Now Neblime is taking on a new challenge, and so far, dead even. 2 games initially for jakulangski in Part 1 of this series, 2 games for Neblime in Part 2 of this series, and now we've got 4 matches to get through in this part, assuming I can slap all of them in one video. Maybe we'll finally get that 1 hour long cast over that Krankendow was hoping for. You guys already know the answer to that, though, because you didn't see the video. We have a lattice coming for Neblime. We've got the Larvhosk first here. Krankendow was saying that he thinks a 1 hour cast should obviously be fine. He also is thinking that Larvhosk first should be fine too, so let's see if he's right. I think so far it's been helping Jack out a little bit with the early game. And we have horizontal spawns on this 4-spawn map. Neblime will finally scout his opponent first, and we've noticed that, again, Jack is not really interested in scouting. And he's just going to go ahead and stick with the pool. He's going to go Larvhosk into pool. He's going to get extra larva out because of this structure here. It costs a lot of Vespene in the early game, but you can see he stops mining Vespene. You can mine directly from the geyser now if you didn't know that. Now you do. And the pool is halfway done, so we're going to see the pair of units available to the Zerg, and I am going to take a sip. All right, well, that was only mildly disgusting. We have Neblime preparing to rescout at some point. Maybe just going to block the hatch. He kind of knows the flow of this build that Jack has tried to do. He's been able to reverse engineer it. What the hell? You can't just burrow the guy there. He's a little bit delayed, so he's just going to go ahead and grab a couple of military units, which you want to do at this point. Anyway, it could be vassals coming. It's actually Sims. What? Don't do that. I don't know actually what Neblime is planning with the Sims in the early stages of the game here. Oh, the pylon. Oh my god. Oh my god. Alright, I just wanted to do that so BDB gets destroyed again. Every time every time I see something new on this map. So the rogue gallery behind the lattice. I wonder if this is going to be fast Barghests. It doesn't need a lot of Vespene for that. We'll see how it goes. Barghest is a flyer unit for Zerg, or sorry, for Protoss that when they decloak, they're permanently cloaked, but Protoss units decloak on attack. And oh man, I just remembered, I had a dream earlier today where somebody was complaining about the fact that the Witness never decloaks, or something like that, and obviously nobody would ever really complain about that in their right mind, so it was definitely in my dreams, but I don't know why I'm just remembering that, but there you go. Anyway, Barghest decloaks and provides increased armor penetration. Now, this one is looking pretty dicey. I mean, again, the Sims can help out. We do have an idol. Okay, so maybe it'll be fine. Oh no, actually, you need to finish these Sims off. Yeah, okay, Jack does so. You can't just be leaving your opponent with, well, never mind. You can leave your opponent with exactly the same number of simulacra that they started with, and you've just traded down all of your units for nothing. So no good there. No bueno. Would have probably liked to scout further and see the rogue gallery. Now that's a secret Jack is not aware of. Going straight for the Vornath, using the fact that it is a little bit cheaper. Until it's not really cheaper in a net. It has 25 more mineral cost and 25 less gas cost. So it's actually the same overall cost, but gas feels more expensive and more vital than minerals, so it's going to feel cheaper. And that is definitely going to be enough. Now, we've seen Jack go for the double expansion pretty fast. He takes his third base very fast on this map. I don't think that's a good move so far, and it has opened him up to this counterattack that comes around this time by Neblime, maybe a little bit later in most games. And so instead of trying to do that, although he could do it as maybe a bait and just try to build up a massive army, his opponent hasn't even set up his natural yet because of the rogue gallery, like the 2-base tech or whatever. The Kabbalist is coming up here from Neblime, so he will be able to move across the map. We saw him get a lot of value out of that in one of the longer games. It might have been the first game of the second video. I can't exactly remember, but he had a Kabbalist that was just wreaking havoc of the mineral line. Now, unfortunately for Jack, he is going to lose a Vorv and a Nath. It turns back into a Vorv and a Zeth. It turns back into a Zeth after taking fatal damage. That's the way that particular mechanic goes. Now, the idle count is only 3 here, so it's not the end of the world for this swarming army, but he hasn't really been able to focus them down. You can see a lot of them, okay, finally 2 of them end up falling. The Vagrant does die twice over. Quasi's now trying to shred the Sim. It will end up splitting, but it's very, very vulnerable at this stage. A second idol pops out, a Vagrant pops out. I think this army does have to go back home. Now, what can the Kabbalist get up to? It's already killed 2 units, most of them workers, it looks like. He's going to go after another one. What is Jakulangski's reaction here? Targeting 2 separate workers, it looks like. He's not reacting at all. So, okay, instead he's just trying to commit to killing stuff. He's killed a pylon. That's not really going to afford him too much, though. And right now he has lost 5. It's going to be 6 workers. Can you say 7 workers? It's going to be 7 workers. Can you say 8 workers? It's going to be 8 workers. All right, well, this is getting excessive. It looks like Jack has somehow not noticed this. I swear, it's not like they are in StarCraft 1, so if you don't know, the reason why Dark Templar and StarCraft 1 are so brutal in PvP, which we don't see them too often, but they can be pretty powerful, obviously, and also in PvZ, is because they one-shot the worker. And in StarCraft 1, one-shotting a worker is an instant death. So, yeah. Let's just say that instant death doesn't send a transmission. And we fixed that in Cosmonarchy, and it doesn't one-shot you anymore. So I'm not really sure how Jakulangski has avoided doing anything about that, but it looks like he's just going to see if he can all-in Neblime and kill him. And suddenly, I think he's actually done that. Holy moly. We are in a pseudo-base race. He's got his Naths over here for protection, so I guess he can deal with it that way. Now it's a question of whether Neblime has done enough damage. Oh, man. Well, talk about one unforced error after another, but Jack going for the kick in the teeth maneuver. Second lattice being built over here. I don't really like this situation here for Jack, though. His units wandering up there and getting absolutely slapped down. This Kabbalist has still not actually died. This worker is totally spinning out. He cannot handle this situation. And I think maybe, just maybe, Neblime is going to be just fine in this situation. I can't really see. I mean, the worker count is actually in favor of Jack still. But yeah, this is definitely an awkward position to be in, right? You could have made an Ovaleth and just kill the guy. Could have made a Circuith and just kill the guy that way. You got the flyers, but you got to really micro them. Okay, now the force over here and Neblime's base has been cleared out. He's getting a second lattice. Man, what a weird opening game. Okay, he's still going. He's still going. They're biting. Oh, the drill. Ah, but he decloaks after 2 seconds of not attacking, so that's a big deal. That's why you want the detection. He's finally going to get it. Maybe he'll hunt it down. My God, man. This is Zerg pain right now. If you have a Zerg player, please look away. I just gotta say, there's a recent Artosis cast video where he says Hero Reaver, and it's got 103 kills. Yeah, I think maybe we need to see that as the thumbnail of this particular video. He's gonna lose a lot of his idols over here. That's a little bit unfortunate for Neblime's position, but the Ovaleth has been flying elsewhere, and what is the reaction? He's gonna be able to kill it with workers! Oh my God, the Uprising has defeated the Kabbalist with almost 30 frags to his name, and there's just a small spattering of random Protoss units as the natural is taken yet again, and the main base can once again be harvested. We've got 2 static defense structures being set up, and Neblime's a little bit not interested in chancing it right now. No _ chance. The Ovaleth will scout forward, pave the way. We've got some very powerful... Yeah, okay. People have already forgotten about this. I don't see rogue galleries be built by some of the new Protosses. But Shambler really demonstrated the power and the significance of the Charlatan. Now, to a lesser extent, Hapsea was also able to show that off, too. And that's something you got to watch out for. By the way, it does look like the May Royal Invitational is going to be dominated by Protosses in terms of the number of signups. So I hope that we get the opposite of domination in terms of their results. Just smack down these Protoss guys, dude. They think they can play as Protoss? Come on, man. That's the easy race. Show them how skilled you are. Another Larva. So we're going up to 4 or 5 hatch production in terms of larva. There's got to be a better term for that. Just 5 larva production is what Jakulangski is going to be achieving here. So I guess he could try to do some crazy flood. He does have more workers than his opponent. The Nexus only now being reset. Man, that Kabbalist could have dealt way less damage you know, for if Jakulangski was just a little bit more on the ball with her when it comes to that. He's going to see if he can get in there, but it's not going to happen. The Charlatan debuffs units with the hallucination debuff, and when you attack a hallucinating target, you fire a secondary projectile that's called a Phantom Strike. Phantom Strikes deal half damage, but it's still going to be a pretty good multiplier. And you can imagine if it's like a splash projectile like the Idols, or the Acantor, right, the Reaver replacement? Well, just imagine firing 2 of those bad boys. You know, suddenly it's a crazy amount of things. The other thing that it's really good with is that it's firing a projectile that deals half damage, but if it hits, you know, say 3 units that all have the hallucination proc, then you're firing 3 projectiles, right? 1 at each unit. So it's more than just a 0.5 multiplication, right? It's very, very potent. Now let's see if Neblime has what it takes to actually bust this down. Since this is not a circuit, I think the answer is going to be yes. The Golem staying alive for so long. Yeah, this is over, man. Neblime has crushed it through, almost certainly. You can't face against the Golems, the Idols, and the Charlatans, all splashing him to death. It's utterly ridiculous. It's crazy. You can't believe what you're seeing. GG has to be called, and Neblime taking the lead in the series. Well, like I said earlier, we got many more games to go, so let's try to forget the tragedy of Darth Kabbalist, the 28 kill guy, and let's just move right on. We are getting into another match here. Neblime in the bottom left and Jakulangski in the bottom right. We have, once again, horizontal positions, but now on the bottom half of the map. So let's see what comes of this. After that last match, I am going to be keeping my eye out on any Kabbalists that are moving across the map. You never know what to expect from situations like that. But despite that, I do think that Jakulangski has... let's just say he had the nice idea of just all-inning. It's just like, you could have just destroyed the Kabbalist at any time with any number of tools. And I feel like that would have saved him from a position of being too weak to continue. I do like the counterattack and just destroying the Nexus. That definitely put Neblime in a bit of a bind. Let's see if Jakulangski can build upon that, because now it's 3 games in a row that Neblime has won. And if this were a best of 9, then, you know, who knows how many more matches he would have to win. Not 100% sure. I guess if this is best of 9, if Neblime wins, then it's match point, am I right? Because he would have 4 wins. And then, yeah. Okay, math is hard to do. Hold on, let me take another sip. There you go. Absolutely vile. So Neblime is going for the lattice openers very often here. It's kind of interesting that we have the lattice opener and we have the Larvosk opener, and it's pretty much always been that way, you know. So there is some interesting things. Okay, there's the pool. I was waiting for it. No Vespene being harvested, so you know it must be the pool. I wonder if somebody would ever be a Mad Lad on a 4-spawn map and just roll the dice and do Larvosk into Hatch into pool and just see what happens. I mean, talk about like ridiculous amount. I guess if your enemy kills like 2 workers, you still have more workers. I don't know how that would work out exactly. Maybe you would do, what if you do Hatcherosk, right? So you spawn with the Hatcherosk. You do Larvosk, and you don't stop harvesting gas, and you go, well, maybe with like 1 worker or something. You keep 1 worker on gas, and then you go Hatcherosk again. I don't know if you would do your expansion. That might be too greedy, but maybe you do Hatch at ramp, right? And then, yeah, that could work. And then you would do like a den opener, right? You just skip the pool entirely. I don't know. I'm just saying. I have ideas. They're not good ideas, but they could be. They aren't. But what if they were? I'm sure Crank and I will try it. So we have a double lattice opener here for Neblime. Something that I got to shout out Hit 'em Up and EUD for is that they both have been talking about how they want to really play all the different races and help understand the different matchups from different directions. That's something I actually really believe in. And I think that it's, you know, you can tell that Neblime is all after that, right? Because he plays as Zerg, he plays as Terran. He's won a championship as both of those races. Now he's switching to Protoss, and that just makes sense as like a thing that you would do. Cue the thunder. Or maybe not. I don't know. I saw lightning. There it is. All right, boys. I told you it was a dark and stormy morning. The Hydra Den on the way. That was a real long amount of time. What is it that if you have to count the seconds between the lightning bolt visual and the read of the... yeah, I'm using gameplay terms to describe thunder in real life and lightning. And that's like how many miles away it is. So yeah, we're fine. We're fine. No worries. Just don't zap the transformer in the middle of me recording this video, will you? We've got some golems coming out. It's pure golem. Golem into idol. This is like, yeah, you want to give jakulangski some nightmares, you go this build, but he's already going for the Hydras. So I feel like he'll be fine, because he can just go for the Hydras. He's also going Vornet. Okay, we need to see, like, Vorv Hydra is a response to this. The Golems are almost here, and there's only Quasis to try to defend them. There's not a flood of Zeths or anything. I do think you could focus down, like, individual Golems with Zeths. It would just be a little bit tricky, right? Because they have 2 armor pens, so they'd still be, they'd take 3 damage per hit. It would be a lot to ask. But yeah, they're powerful, man. They're 200 minerals a pop, so they better be. This represents like 2 expansions almost that could be taken by Neblime, and he's still not super confident about what he can do about this situation. He hasn't even scouted the Hydrith yet, so I think he's like, wait a second, you definitely are trying to set up for a surround. I'm out of here. Which is that's gonna look really puzzling if you're not familiar with like the back and forth of Cosmonarchy, but I swear there is a sense that is made there. It's not like Neblime is just walking in and then, throwing by walking away. He's worried about a surround. There's just nothing here. So now we've got some Hydras. Jakulangski mind gaming saying, I will never build the Hydralisk in the last video that we casted. And here we are. He's building Hydras, so he must have changed his mind. Definitely you can see like the flood of units. He's made this hatch. He is not really making that many workers for it, right? Now, again, he charges so far forward with the Vorv. At least he saves it this time. He can burrow it to regenerate twice as fast. That's a feature of Cosmo Zerg. He's making some more Vorvs here on the front line. Looks like most of his Zeths, yeah, he's only got like 3 Zeths that aren't Vorvs. So his damage potential will be a little bit less, but we were talking about the idols. You actually want the tankiness more, I think. You want the Hydras to be your damage potential. So here we go. The attempt at making things happen. Now we've got 4 Golems, one of the Hydras being popped very, very fast, but at the same time, the Focus Fire, where is the Focus Fire? These 2 units are targeting different things. They're not focusing down the same Golem. Oh no, frontlining with the Hydras was a grave error. And by the way, the Vorv reducing the armor of the Golem by 1 means that the Zeths deal full damage, and obviously the Hydras deal 8 instead of 7. So it does stack up. There was no, it's not like there were Ecclesiasts here or anything. So I don't know, man. I think we might have needed a little bit more on the Hydra side, but also definitely Focus Fire. That's the one thing you can't do is like spread your fire, right? Now, if you have like Lakizelisks, okay, you're probably dealing more damage than the Golems are healing, and you're dealing maybe damage to like the units in the back line. But other than that, you don't want to spread your fire, not necessarily, right? Let's see what the Golems can do now that the second attack force is amassing. It's kind of shown his hand a little bit here. He's got Manifolds coming. He's got the Warden over here as well to deal a little bit of damage. He's ensnared one of them. He could try to focus it down. Is he going to? No, he's changed targets again. Oh, no. It's an utter disaster. Man, it's so... you can tell that, like, if you just focus it, right? Like, once it loses its shields, it no longer releases the healing pulse to other units. And if you just focus it, then it will never have its shields, right? So let's see what happens now. The idols are actually getting engaged upon in the bit of the back line here. What are the Golem... Yeah, okay, the Hydras are targeting the idols. That's what they were going for. Just ignoring the Golems for now, even though one of them is so tantalizingly low. Well, let's have a look. What else comes out of it? You know, I could see an argument for maybe the Golem being, like, cheaper on the minerals by a decent amount, but losing 1 armor, going down to 2 armor, and making it so that it's a little bit more something that you can just try to spam. Because it is, I don't know, it's an interesting... Like, then it's passive is what really sets it apart, right? That's sort of like the vibe, the idea. One thing that I will say that Jack could definitely try to do a little bit better in general is I think he could leave like 1 Zeth pocketed or something like that. Zerg are excellent at, throwing units around the map for scouting. We saw Neblime do this a lot. And just being able to tell when your opponent is actually falling back, it saves you the opportunity or the necessity of feeling like you need to put down a Circuith. But he hasn't mutated this, so to his credit, he has confirmed by going out on the map where his opponent is. And it turns out his opponent is not nearby. There is no engram over here this time around, so this could actually be a very, very critical moment here. Nice Psionic Storm from that Cantavus. Has to force a move back with the Hydras, and again, they just can't kill the Golems. Oh, the Cantavus almost died to his own Psystorm. That was scary. Well, the workers are getting absolutely massacred right now. The Warden did stay alive during all of that. So at the very least, there's, well, I say massacre, but there's really only like 5 dead workers. Still, though, it's still pretty good. Yeah, get rid of that Psystorm, dude. Yeah, jump into it. He's testing the behavior. He's like, oh, look at that. That counts. The Golems just don't die. That's probably him just being like, hey, Pronogo, when you cast this game, please look at this interaction. Well, seems fine to me. I don't personally see a problem. I guess the idea is that maybe... There's a lot of behaviors in Cosmonarchy that behave based on like when the enemy takes damage. Like the Simulacra. It has to take damage from enemies, right? And it's not like, oh, when I take damage, period, because then you could just farm your own Sims, right? That's pretty obvious. So maybe the golem should work that way too, you know? I'm open to that idea. A horde of Quasilisks. Man, this would be a great time for tier 2 and then a Kalkir Lake so you could make a bunch of Lyrilisks. I actually unironically think Lyrilisks would just decimate the Golem army because of the bounces. And maybe they wouldn't. Maybe they would do the opposite because of the bounces. But we'd have to see. I don't think that they're a great choice into all of these. Okay, that's zoning storms. You know, he's putting them down. They last for 10 seconds now. So I actually don't think that's that looks goofy, but it's not necessarily the end of the world. Irolara is coming. I do like that jakulangski just typed "ah" as the golems appeared. That should probably be the thumbnail of this video is him typing "ah" and then like you know the 3 golems moving across the map at the start, or this indeed, you know, just hello. I heard you might like some golems, man. All right, here's the storm, nice and early. The fact that the golems just don't care about the storm is actually kind of thematic. So let's see, he tries to go for a good surround here. Storm not really hitting too much just now, but maybe he can continue to develop the fight. Are these golems staying alive? No, it looks like they're actually slowly being focused down. This one on the bottom is indeed just getting absolutely eviscerated. This is a good storm on those quasis. Those will all die. No bueno there. And you can see the DPS not really staying alive here right now for jakulangski. He's losing a lot. These golems on the front aren't, they just ignore the quasis entirely. No worries there at all. These guys are hallucinating, but nobody's attacking them, so it doesn't matter. Oh, actually, wait a second. The focus fire finally worked out. Okay, 6 o'clock is going to finish. It's allowed to finish, and then it's immediately attacked. But there is another wave of Zerg massing up here. I actually don't know. Oh, this is a really cool move by Neblime to try to stop this. He doesn't have his 3rd base up right now, remember. His scribe is sort of idling over there, but he hasn't actually taken it yet. I can't believe the quasis are actually going to kill it. They actually kill it. You can just demonstrate how much better it is when you focus fire. All right, so now these quasis are just going to get bopped on their way out. The witness seeing that, hey, you're going for a spire, okay. You haven't evolved any of your other units, okay. We do have, of course, more Vorvs coming. Zorka is down here. That was a nice, cute spot for it to be built. He's not going to bother attacking that right now, it looks like. Okay, he wants the golems to charge forward, but unfortunately, when they don't have shields, they aren't going to actually proc their passive. So, dude, we're learning so much about Protoss. Wah? I agree. All right, let's see what happens. He's gonna go ahead and finish off these Kagrins. Where are the units? Jack, you've got 1,800 minerals. Jack, where are your units? No, Jack, no. What are you waiting for? Your spire is done. I think he's looking at the tech. Oh, the witness died to storm. No. Oh my god. Okay, Protathalors, 2 of them. I don't know about that. What? What? Jack? Jack, you didn't spend your money, Jack. Jack? Aw, Jack. Well, I hope you're ready for more Paradise. Neblime in the bottom left, jakulangski in the bottom right. We got the same configuration, actually, as the previous match. Tricky to maneuver. That is the downside. Well, is that really the downside, dude? You just have mass golem, and you destroyed jakulangski's mentally. He had 2k minerals he didn't spend. I wonder if that game was actually, like, the replay was bugged for that one. All of the other replays have gone just fine. So, I'm going to guess that it was... I don't know, I want to give Jack the benefit of the doubt. And I also want to give both of these people the benefit of the doubt that they wouldn't submit a replay where somebody just mental boomed and floated 2k minerals. But anyway, I assume maybe Neblime also would have then had more units and what yada 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 and so on and so forth. But hey, this is how we go sometimes, man. This is what Krankendow feared the most when games of relatively low playing skill count or whatever you want to call it, like when people are tired at the end of their 8-game long set or ridiculous amount of matches that they play, and then they're like, oh, I floated 2k minerals, oh shit, and then this is why we need more quality assurance for the cast matches, according to Crank. And I agree, dude. Crank knows a couple of things. It's been my my homie. Golem, they don't die. It's true. All right, the Lattice is coming, as per usual. Larvosk is coming. Also checks out. If you want to check us out, though, you can join. You can play. You can enjoy the fact that we're running these regular invitational events in conjunction with, or in addition to the more larger scope matches like Acropolis, the tournaments like that. Very cool stuff, in my opinion. Now, the pool is on the way behind the Larvosk. I'm still waiting for somebody to do something crazy with this Larabosk and just go nuts. Just go nuts, man. But you know, shout out to Crank for finding that build in the first place. A lot of Zergs have figured it out. Neblime used it in the finals. In fact, the only time he didn't use it, I think, was that, well, no, that's not true. He only used it once in the finals of Acropolis #1. I don't know if you can count the last 2 games, though, because they were ridiculous cheese games that, well, I won't spoil the outcome. If you want to go ahead and watch the Acropolis #1, the finals, just search it up, but pretty good shit. All right, Lattice out, second Lattice here. Golem first, as per usual. Very expensive mineral build. It does delay your ability to expand quite a bit, I think. That's something that we noticed out of that game. And again, if Jack gets better at singling out the golems and focusing them down, that's definitely a good move. So we'll have to wait and see. Wait! We'll have to wait. He might have hit the plus key and then it like broke the UI update. That's something that happens. Learning some crazy things here. It's true. Ah! Heh heh. H. All right, so what is Neblime going to be doing in this game? You know what? I was submitted recently a best of 3 between Comical Flop and his buddy, whose name I'm blanking on at the moment. But definitely something where like they basically were like, yeah, I don't know about the oh well, that's funny. Capital X, lowercase d. I don't know if they're particularly common players. Let's see, it was Martino Force was his buddy's name. So shout out to those guys. We'll be casting that best of 3. And you know, it was something that was pretty funny that was sent to me by commented by Chumbeck, actually, Hoop Thrower, the homie. Might be doing live translation duties for our tournament pretty soon. He said something like that we should definitely post the silly games here and see what happens. And so maybe we will. Yeah, Hydroth Vornath, okay, still going the same route. Let's see what happens as a result of that. The sim going focus down. No, you don't want to give him an extra sim for free. Oh, no. It's actually worse than free because you donated all your units too. Well, hey, Azeth came in there and scouted to see that it is indeed double lattice. I mean, you don't know if there's some pocket tech somewhere else, but he scouted no expansion. He scouted double lattice, so he knows that his opponent is military focus. He can get some vibes from that and see what he wants to do. He's going for 2 pairs of gnats. I actually do like this in principle, but with his hatch only now hatching, it does feel like, I don't know, he needs some defenses and he needs some hydras so he can hold back the front, right? But the gnats are done. If they fly directly into the enemy base and pick, you know, harass some workers, especially if these idols get waypointed out, they can definitely do a lot. Let's see. It doesn't look like Neblime was able to see that, but again, this is a really scary move out, right? He's actually got to turn her back around, but the Sims here can shoot air. Oh, no, this is looking very risky. Very risky indeed. Oh, no, I think we could just see a total GG here. I mean, hold on, he's gonna reduce the HP of some of these. Oh, no, he's attacking the golem and it's healing the Sim! No, he's multiplied so many. Oh, my God. Remember, he walked in here with 5 Sims, and he has what? What is that? Hold on. I think that's 9 Sims now, so he's already gotten 4 for free. Sure, some of them are chewed up in terms of damage, but he's lost the gnats. That was a big gas investment, could have counter-harassed with. Oh my God. What can you do from this position? And he's going to go for a surround. I think it's too desperate, man. I think Zerg are going to need to think about the drawing board here. Golems showing off power. Oh my God. 11 Sims. I think some of them might have moved across the map, actually, but that's, yeah, okay, that's GG. Utter devastation. Utter destruction. And, yeah, I mean, new fear golems. I can see where Jack is coming from. Let's see if he has the gusto to post a dub at the end of this, or is Neblime actually going to go beyond 5 wins? We've got one more game to cast. All right. We have cross spawns for our final match. Maybe this will be a little bit on the longer side, although it is the last game, and it's the 4th game in one video, so you know. All right, so Neblime in the bottom left, jakulangski in the top right. I don't really think that Neblime had anything to do with the Hydra stuff, funnily enough, because he wasn't really spamming Hydras as hard as some of the other guys were. It's kind of funny. However, I do think that the focus fire, yeah, Neblime even focusing it down, pointing it out here. Hydras do well against golems now. Not as well as they used to, obviously, because they used to only deal 1 reduced damage. But You do need something there. You do need something. As our players try to figure out what exactly they will do to counter each other, well, Neblime is just going to keep doing the same thing. But we'll have to see. If you guys think you have ideas for how Zerg can defeat things, defeat this ridiculous menace, this lattice, this robotics. It's kind of thematic to me that the Protoss deploy robotic automata to clear out the Zerg. They're like, we aren't going to throw our soldiers at this. No way, dude. Just let the robots handle it. I'm not touching Zerg. Get out of here. Something about that seems pretty funny. But yeah, very interesting stuff. Pool on the way once again. Again, you know, if you're harvesting 125 gas so early, it does feel like maybe you could instead go for one of the tech options. But I don't know if anybody has tried to experiment with a hatch into den or something like that. And maybe you also still want other details there, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's difficult to say. It's difficult to say. But anyway, I'm sure that we're only on the precipice. It's so funny because we've been playing Cosmonarchy for under a year now in terms of like serious competitive events or attempts or whatever. It'll be the 1-year anniversary of the first Ascension tournament in June later on. I don't have the exact date off the dome, but it'll be like early June or mid-June or something. So we're getting close to that 1-year anniversary. And, you know, I don't know if you can call that super serious. Our player skill was not very high, but it was the start of Mystery Meets Utter era of domination. And right now, we're in closer to what would be a Neblime era. You know, it depends on what you count it as. We have less tournaments now than we were just spamming them like every week, every other week, into every month last year. But we've slowed things down so we can do other details like, you know, campaigns and stuff. And so, you know, something that, oh yeah, fuck that Hydra. Somebody else that, ooh, okay. All right. I like it. It was scouted. Now you're going to go Zorkas. You can't be prepared for that kind of mind game. And, you know, maybe, you know what? You know what? Maybe Gorg is an answer. Saiyan was making those a lot in his games versus Terran, and he was just like, he would actually defeat EUD back in the day when he was going his bio play. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting to think about. Now then, what else do we have? Tagging that Zeth, but it's still going to get in for the scout. Love to see that. Ooh, tickle. Yeah, tickle. Ah, there we go. A minor disruption. Not really that big of a deal. Scouting with the Zeths makes a lot of sense, though. Move way faster than the workers do. And yeah, all right. You know what? I actually can presumably add the I use camera hockeys, camera locations as a witness, funnily enough. So as an observer, I come in here. So, you know, we'll see about that. I can actually do that now. It looks like we'll actually get into a game. So we do have one Gorg being made. The gas cost for it is kind of prohibitive sometimes, so you got to watch out for that. But let's see what happens. Second Gorg on the way. Now remember, Neblime thinks this is going to be Hydra. He's going to go ahead and build his Nexus for his natural. Got distance mining gas. Definitely need that Vespene. You know how it is. Full saturation on the ridge and on the gas. He's got two guys idle over here. They're like, I'm not walking all that way. All right, now it's just a question of whether or not Jack can hide the Gorgs for long enough, right? He's got some Zets parked around in the other base, the other main locations. Now, I think you're a little bit suspicious as this simulacrum walks in and starts harassing the workers to see nobody harvesting minerals in this base, but the ridge is saturated. Yeah, you probably have some workers over there in the main gas too. And we still don't see any Hydrith units, right? So it's kind of interesting. Oh, he could have gone for a surround there. Not going to happen. Oh my god, no. They're splitting. They're splitting. No! Okay, one of them does go down, but you remember this was one when it started. No, that's just troll. Troll behavior. All right, we're going to go up to 4 Gorgs in a moment. Each one of them is, I believe, 75 Vespene. Maybe that's the... Actually, hold on. Maybe that is the Lakizalisk. Lakizalisk is 75. Gorg is 100. The more you know. That makes it nice and easy to try to math out, right? You're looking at it and you're like, okay, every Gorg is 100 Vespene. So at 9 Gorgs, you could have ticked up. That's the question is, are you going to be able to get enough of a dub off of that? Now, this Gorg could get spotted here by the Protoss army moving forward, and that will give up the game. Yeah, indeed. He did not get it out of the way in time, so he's going to have to turn around and try to attack. There is no splash damage here, so you don't really have to worry about it as much. Manifolds do pretty good single target damage here, so they are eventually going to chew through the Gorgs. Meanwhile, what is not being chewed through is the Golems. So 200 gas all the way down already. But this was not an inexpensive army that Neblime was fielding. I can't believe his Golem has gone on an utter rampage massacre. They don't die. All right, 3 workers killed and 200 gas down the drain. He's got 2 more Gorgs coming. He's going to move forward. There is already a Warden here. We've got a Gateway and a Grand Library, and another Warden started. A Warden and a Matrix over here. This base looks really, really difficult to try to deal with. Leading with the healthy Gorgs is a good move. He's got 2 more on the way, going for his 3rd base. Okay, Jack has some threat, some danger, but he doesn't really have the ability to flood the ground army. He's got some Zeths, I guess. It just feels like he can't really surround and destroy the Matrix, or indeed the pylon. I mean, the pylon over here is going to power that anyway. All right, here we go. No splash damage still. Plenty of power here to deal with that. Okay, now the idols are out. Can they be destroyed in time? Trying to spread them out. The Matrix is indeed killing Zeth cores that are charging in one at a time. Another Warden finishes. That's 1 Gorg down. Oh no, that's another Gorg down. Remember, one of them is super low. It dies too. We're down to only 3 Gorgs. Yeah, I guess a 4th one died at some point too. Okay, that makes more sense because there were 7 in total. So he's gonna have to fall away. This is looking very scary. I don't think he's killed really any workers. He hasn't killed the Matrix. It's still at half health. Yeah. All right, not looking too good for Jack. 700 Vespene. Well, I guess not yet. It was in total, right? It was 900 because 2 died here, 7 died in the base, and that could have been a tier 2. So now Jack is saving up for that, and he will be able to drop the eye roll any moment now. So he will take the 3rd base. I guess he forced his opponent to stick around, and he knows that the Grand Library transition is in again. So that is some scouting intel. But at this point, you have to say that Neblime is indeed ahead. If Jack had gone for like 2 hatches in the main, because he had like 1,000 minerals just a moment ago, right? Oh no, he's not even going to go tech up. He's going to go for Lakizilisks. Okay, I don't hate that either. But if he had gone like 2 more hatch in the main and a hatch down here at like double expanded behind that or whatever, and then just flooded workers, then he might be in a position to eventually recover from the loss. Use that to achieve tempo, because that is something that you do when you attack. You are achieving tempo. It's a question of for how long. But he's going to go ahead and move forward with all of his Zeths. He has spent down his minerals. He's getting 5 Lakizilisks just hatched, and he's got 3 Zoryus on the way. The Atreus is here, and so too are the idols. So the splash damage is going to be pretty intense. Cantavis nearly complete. We got Golems here as well. And the Iral Iris does indeed come on down. So if the Lakizilisks can get to a point where they can burrow and start volleying forward the spines, we could see a really nice move here. Remember, the Hydra then was canceled, so it tries to focus that guy down, but the Vorv flank there is definitely good enough. He's kind of charging forward here, but the Lakizilisks need to move forward. He needs to kind of leapfrog from this position, and wow, look at that! Of course Saya Storm would be very good in this position. He can just burrow and try to remove, but then you can shoot him again. All right, I don't know. It doesn't look like most of the Lakizilisks can actually fight with this. And another Storm gets cast. That's going to almost kill one of the Lakizilisks, and they're just going to charge forward and see what they can do over here. No detection, remember, but one of them goes down, the other one very low. Only one of them is going to be able to remain alive, and look at that, it even gets cleaned up anyway because all of the workers were not focused down. There you go. Ends up dealing with one of them. He's got another one over here. And all of the Zeths return home from whence they came. 3rd base not saturated. Nothing else coming up right now. 1,200 Vespene. Al-Kagiteth coming, or sorry, 1,200 minerals, not Vespene. And now he queues up a bunch of workers. Okay, so again, I feel like if Jack could have been a little bit more on the ball with that, we could have seen something a little bit better. But alas, this is where we stand. All right, gas capping. Always a good move now that you're at that tier 2 point. I wonder what the Alcag is going to be for. Is he going to go for a lot of Kagralisks again? Like, is that his play? He's going to go ahead and saturate Vespene. That makes sense. He's got a lot in the tank already, so maybe it actually would make a bit more sense to get some more minerals. Unlock some of that Vespene spending. I've talked about it before. I got this terminology mostly from Veek describing it as like minerals being your scaling factor and gas being your power factor. And it's not exactly that, but you can describe it that way for sure. Now we've got some Kagrins coming. Try to defend this base from any run-bys and slow down any heavy attacks. But if this attack comes anytime soon, it does feel like his units are not going to be in the right position. He's making one Lakizalisk on location. Oh, the circuits aren't even done yet. Again, if Jack had done this a little bit early, then maybe he could have been in a better position. But yeah, he's going to go ahead and force the enemy to move back with all of their army. That's a preemptive storm and a half, but looks like it's going to be enough. He just falls back through it. Softens him up, lets the splash damage take care of everything else. The one Lakizalisk still standing, but we need way more than that. We only have a couple Kags out right now. A Vigorless coming too. Using the storm just to keep the golems enchanting themselves. Man, that's a dirty strat. I like it. It doesn't work on buildings, but I get the idea. He's storming the building so that he can use the golems. I was actually thinking it could work on buildings, but not right now, right? Not right now, and not until it's something that can be moved and, you know, requires the Cantavus to stay channeled or whatever. All right, so the golems are going to get focused down thanks to the Kagralisks. So their front line is just the Amaranths now. But again, all of these units clumping up over here. The Storm going to be doing crazy amounts of damage if they don't move. And if they do move, they're reducing their DPS, obviously. That's going to clean up all the Kags. Can the Vigorlists hold the fort? We've got a Scorchrith out. That's going to be enough to kill this Drakodin. All right, it does get reset. Now it's going to just be a lowly circuit, and it won't even finish off that idle. Spiders! I don't know if he's talking about the Atreus, or he's talking about the Lakizalisk or the Vigorlisk. None of them have 8 legs, but, you know, the one Amaranth is going to go on a rampage. Trying to use that Hallucinate to really power down the Vigorlisks, and it looks to be working right now. I think Vigorlisks are not very good versus Protoss units that have high HP. Because you have the whole flash shielding mechanic, right? But I guess admittedly, with no golems in the area, they can't really enchant them. He's making a lot more Vigorlisk, so that seems to be what he wants to stick with right now. Oh my god. Let's just see. The damage dealt by this one Cantavus is definitely climbing. Oh, he's got another one over here. Yeah, combined, they've done over, almost 3,000 damage. Pretty nuts. And that doesn't factor in the, hallucination multiplication, actually. So that's something that should probably be referenced. So you can see the Vigolisks aren't doing nothing. It's just they're meant to help other units deal damage, right? Reinforcements coming in from Neblime. This will certainly clean up Jack if he's not careful. He's already lost his 3rd base. Neblime has his 3rd operational and a 4th coming over at 9 o'clock. Amaranth Golem staying alive for quite some time. Where's the focus fire? The Vigorlisk's not doing it. That's going to be yet another GG. And Neblime will take the whole series at the final score of 6-2. What a turnaround, man. I was hoping that for Jack's sake he could get back on the board. But, you know, crazy Kabbalist plays. Crazy, what was the other one? Obviously the 2K gas, or 2K mineral float after the golems, if that is indeed what happened. And now we just have a new fear unlocked, golems. Well, I hope you guys are ready for some more matches tomorrow. And until then, remember that this event in the weekend is going to be really, really hype. Yeah, I guess this video comes out for Friday. So yeah, tomorrow's video will be the thing that heralds the arrival of the May Royal Invitational. Getting out the trumpets, rolling the red carpet out for our homies. See you guys there. Peace.